The end of any motorsports season signals the crowning of a champion. A year-long fight at some of the nation's greatest motorsports facilities all leads down to one final battle to determine it all. Tonight we visit Hampton, Georgia in the Atlanta Motor Speedway to end the season championship battle for the Virtual Racing League Cup Series. I'm Finney DeCuna, joined by my guest commentator tonight, Andrew Cardinale, filling for Kyle Heyer. He unfortunately has some other things to attend to at the moment, but Andrew is Atlanta's known for being fast and slick, but what makes this place so different than other 1.5 mile tracks on the circuit?
Well, Finian, this is slightly longer, but really that's not going to matter. But this place is extremely fast. You've got speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour down to about 160 to 170 in the corners, and that's due to the roughness of the pavement, the bumps in the track. This place has a lot of character, Finian. It's going to be really exciting to watch these guys tackle this tough racetrack.
Yeah, and as we're going to look through our qualifying order here, so currently Jacob Hall in the 43, he's going to hold provisional pole. Still a few guys that need to put a lap time down, but he's holding strong up front.
Yeah, I've been watching the times filter in. We've only got a few cars left, about 6 or so, and really, Alec Martinez was holding on to that top spot for a while, then Jacob Hall finally got up there and knocked him down, and I think he's even got, actually no, he is done with his run, but we've got more cars going around the speedway, possibly some down towards the bottom. I think Robert Gaba's on the track.
Yeah, but let's actually take this time before we get going for the green flag. Let's take time to look at our championship fight. So, Jordan Ashley's been doing fantastic all season long. He's currently our points leader. But don't count out Eric Hutton just yet. He has a few chances of actually being able to win. It's kind of slim, but the chance is still there. So in case of a tie, Hutton would win because he has more race wins and a couple scenarios to go through of which Eric Hutton could win. Eric Hutton has to win to get the most possible bonus points. He has to and get the most possible bonus points. He needs to have pole, lead the most laps, and win a stage. Then we have Ashland has to finish 13th or worse and have no bonus points. If neither driver gets a stage point and Hutton wins, Ashland will have to finish 17th or worse for Hutton to win the championship. If neither driver gets stage points and Hutton gets second, Ashland will have to finish 26th or worse for Hutton to win the championship. That last one's not going to really apply, as we do have about 21 guys about to take the green flag here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be tough either way for Eric Hutton to get up there, but he's off to a pretty good start, qualifying P3 so far.
Yeah, and I mean, he's doing everything he needs to do right now. And as we're going to get ready for gridding, we're going to cut down to the track. And there we go. All right. So as you see everyone grid, we're going to pop up the gridding graphic here, and we're going to go through qualifying order. So Jacob Hall is in the 43. He's going to start on pole. Alec Martinez in the 18 is going to start outside of him in second. And that's not working. Nice. Let's try that again. All right. So Jacob Hall in the 43 is going to be in first, and Alec Martinez in second on the outside row. Moving back to row 2, we got Eric Hutton in the 88, who needs to have a great finish for tonight to take the championship. Then we have Mark Emerson in the 22 outside of him in fourth. Moving back to row 3, we got Ryan Shelton in the 51, starting in 5th. Joshua Banks is going to start outside of him in 6th. Moving back to 7th place, we got Angelo Hronis in the 9. He's going to start in 7th. And then in 8th, we have Nicholas I was trying to pronounce his name last week, couldn't do it. He's going to start in 8th, and Andrew Schwimmer is going to start in 9th in the 38. Jordan Ashland is going to start all the way back in 10th, needs to do have some work to do to move up through the field. Reggie Ortega going to start in the 2 in 11th. Chris Gutierrez in the 70 in 12th. Moving
rolling
back.
Off. Go ahead.
I was going to say, rolling off in 13th, we have Jeremiah Vincent in the 8. And 14th, you have Alec Daffin in the 20. And if Andrew, if you want to take over the rest of the grid.
Yeah, and following up Alec Daffin and Jeremiah Vincent will be Elliott Butler in the 15th position. Then it's Robert Gaba to his outside in the Hooters machine. Stephen Turner starts off row number 9 in the 17th position. Then it's Eli Hinton, the final of the qualifiers to take a time. Then it's Andrew Telgenhoff, I do believe, off in 19th position, starting off in the number 3 car. Then it's Josiah Vincent, believe that's correct, in the 20th position, rounding out your top 20. Last 3 cars in the field, Eddie Trejo in the 11, Ben Baffert in the 16, William Troy in the 87.
All right, so that's going to round out the grid there. And as we take an aerial view of this track, what are some of the things you're going to see some guys have trouble with it tonight, Andrew?
Well, like I mentioned, this place is very bumpy, it's very slick, and it doesn't look like the temperatures are too hot tonight, but it's still going to be a concern. You really have to conserve every part of your car. You can't go full bore here tonight. You have to conserve that right front, you have to conserve the right rear, and you just have to be careful. Take these first few laps really easily if you're a driver. Just get settled in and see what you can do from there. If we can get settled into about a 10, 15, even 20 lap run, I think we're going to have some green flag racing.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. We were talking about it before the race, before we started broadcasting. But yeah, if guys can just kind of get sorted out and everyone spread out, we should have a pretty green flag race on our hands. But I'm sure with the final being the final race of the season, everyone's going to go all out because it's now or never. So as the pace car approaches turn 4, it's going to take the left-hand turn off to pit road, and Leah's going to start away, and we're green here at Atlanta.
Jacob Hall with a big start right there, clears Alec Martinez off into turn 1. Eric Hutton trying to get ahead of Mark Emerson on the bottom side and the number 88. And it's going to be, I believe that's Joshua Banks actually taking an early spot away from Ryan Shelton on the bottom side, and Mark Emerson now fighting back on the top side for 3rd.
Yeah, I seem a little loose off the corner there. Already loose early on. These guys are going to have to deal with that. But he's right on the back bumper of Hutton trying to get that position.
Yeah, and again, the key right now for these guys is to just settle in, especially if you're Eric Hutton battling for that championship. Right now, really, even if you're Jordan Ashland, you just want to settle in, see what you can get here on the start, and prepare for the long run. And right now, some really close racing between Emerson and Hutton, the 22 and the 88 respectively, battling for 3rd and 4th. They're right behind Alec Martinez in closing. Here comes the move from the 22 down to the inside into turn 3.
Yeah, and he's really hungry now. You see him just get the fender in there, trying to make the move happen. These guys are going to be side by side coming off the floor, and this is where you're going to see a lot of guys get loose.
Yeah, Finney and I have one previous, I guess, set of experience with this league, actually. It's been a little while, been a few months, but I know Mark Emerson was one to watch. And actually, Joshua Banks up into the fence early. Lap number 3, washes up the track and just tags that wall. No harm, no foul. Going to keep going. Doesn't look like it's too much damage, but definitely something you want to avoid. It's very easy to do. Once that car bottoms out on entry, you're just along for the ride.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be too much on his right side. Just a little bit of a scrape, but he's going to continue on going on. But how about Emerson now is trying to get ahead of Hutton and Martinez. He's side by... Ooh, wow. You see him just dive into below the 18. He's going to try to get 3rd.
And Mark Emerson makes the pass. Alec Martinez quickly sliding back, but nothing to worry about just yet. He could just be saving his tires, and that's not a bad thing to do here, Finian, because as these guys race on, it's really easy to just wear your tires out in the first few laps, especially early in the race. There's really no rubber on this track. It's going to be really easy to just tear your tires up early before we get rubber down. Later on, the track might come to you a little bit, but right now you're again along for the ride. We're going to be saying that a lot here in the early going, maybe even through the entire race.
Yeah, and here we have, we're looking on screen with Jordan Ashland right now in 12th. He actually seems to have lost some position. So he's going to have to move his way back up. Starting 10th, I believe he's going to have to move his way up after losing 2 positions on the start. But a lot of battling going on in the midfield, led by the group of Ryan Shelton. He's going to be leading these guys. A bunch of battles going on.
Yeah, I see Nicholas Caressel looking for some spots. I'll get the words out eventually here, Finney. And he actually gained a spot lost a spot from the start. Switched with Andrew Schmier in the number 38, and right now he's hanging on to that position ahead of Jeremiah Vincent. I am just tongue-tied right now, but we're going to figure that out.
Yeah, see a lot of these guys already in the going right now. You see Eli Hinton, who had a fantastic run last week, just came up a little bit short of the win. Had a very strong car. He's hoping for some more tonight.
And Finian, one big thing we're going to have to watch out for is just how unsettled these cars get down the straightaways. I'm sure you guys see it in the Fuel Cup Series all the time with us, being one of the drivers over there. It's not easy to make a move down the straightaways. You can do whatever you want in the corners. You're going to have to wear your tires out, obviously, but especially coming out of turn 4 down to turn 1. If you make the slightest move, Finian, the car gets extremely loose here at Atlanta more than anywhere else, it seems. So these guys going for positions early on these restarts, they got to be really careful not to make too many sudden moves. I was actually in a practice session earlier on, and I couldn't get down to the inside of somebody because of how loose it was, and I had to stick to the top side, and we actually made contact, ended up in the wall. But I mean, it's tough. If you can't make that move right away through the corner, you're going to have a bad time down that quad oval.
Yeah, and we're just running on board there with Eli Hinton, moving himself all the way from 18th to 12th, so he's doing a fantastic job out there at the moment, moving up through the field. You see some cars loose. That's the 3 of Andrew Telganoff. He was a little bit loose, a little bit squirrely coming off the corner there. He's going to keep it going straight, though. But again, a lot of cars all close together. I'm very surprised by this.
Yeah, that's what Atlanta produces. It kind of spreads the front of the pack out pretty quickly. But
Oh,
the rest
yeah,
of the field,
someone's
actually,
spinning.
78 around Chris Gutierrez just goes around the back straightaway. There, he hits the wall with the back end of the car. Not too much damage. Thankfully, I think he'll be able to continue on, but he's certainly bruised there in the back end, and he's going to lose a lot of time, if not a lot.
All right, let's take a moment to try to catch what happened there. It looked to be pretty much textbook Atlanta. Just kind of getting loose off the corner, but we'll see on board as we ride here. And here you see him come off the corner. And just gets loose in front of the 3 of Telganoff, and unfortunately he's going to spin it down to the inside. Hit the back of the car, should be good, shouldn't be too much damage, but should be able to continue on.
It's going to be early in the race. You don't want to have it late in the race when you can't make up for it. So we'll see him battle back. I'm watching Jeremiah Vincent, though. He is up more positions, got by Caressel. Now he's actually trying to attack Andrew Smear in the 38.
Yeah, Vincent, too, moving up through the field. He's into 9th right now. Started in 13th, so he's having a fantastic job. You see him right on the quarter panel of the 38. He's not giving him any room tonight.
No, and that's the name of the game. You got to get right up to somebody. You got to put pressure on them, because really the easiest way to pass somebody is going to be to cause a mistake, just to pressure them into making a mistake through the corners. And really the big thing is going to be either into or off of the corner. Just get settled in for the center and then try and make a move later on. And there you see the big move from the 13. Hinton going down to the bottom side, passing, or at least trying to pass, Nicholas Caressel at 77, not doing too great so far.
Yeah, but 13 of Hinton now on the move right now. He's in 11th, looking on 10th. So he's actually scored in 10th at the moment. It's finally broken the top 10 again. Started in 18th, so doing a fantastic job tonight so far. And we're only 13 laps in of a 140-lap race.
And I just saw it out of the 13 car. We saw it out of the 87 just a little while ago, where you get, or sorry, not the 87, the 78 a little while ago, where you get a little bit loose. Unfortunately, Chris didn't save it, but right there, Eli Hinton hung on to it out of turn 2. Just gets a little bit sideways, a little bit of style points, pretty much. You're going to be watching that a lot as the tires wear off here, Finian. It's just a matter of pretty much sitting that right side out there, getting the side force on the door of your car, and hanging on to it for dear life.
Yeah, so as we've been looking on in the midfield, let's kind of catch up with our leaders here. So the 43 of Jacob Hall has kind of just run away from the field at the moment. Eric Hunt is doing a fantastic job in second, however, and he has a 1.7 second gap over the 22, Mark Davison, behind him in third. And behind Joshua Banks in fourth, you have a bunch of cars forming up here trying to chase towards the front.
Yeah, Alec Martinez, he fell back at the start. He started second place, lost 3 positions, but now he's settling in. That pink number 18 actually looking pretty strong here as the run gets going. I also noticed Angelo Hronis up 1 spot. Meanwhile, Ryan Shelton has lost 2 spots. These guys all just battling, trying to get what they can now that the tires are broke in, going to get a better feel for the race car. And this is where these guys are going to finally start to struggle. We saw it, like I said, with Eli Hinton as Ryan Shelton gets that spot back from the 9 car. This is when the car starts to free up. So, you know, this is pretty much when you have to be on your game. And if you aren't right now, you have to at least figure it out for the later laps. This is 140 laps, so we still have 120 to go. But you still have to settle in now, or you might not get there the entire race.
Oh, wow, the 36 of Butler really loose off of 2. That's what we're seeing a lot of these drivers struggling with tonight, but he saves it. He's going to keep on going. But, man, I got to ask you, how do you deal with that, constantly getting loose off the corner? How do you, as a driver, try to adjust your driving strategy?
Well, I mean, every driver sees it a bit differently. Personally, I like racing on dirt, so it kind of just gets fun after a while. Obviously, it's definitely stressful, but you really just have to play a chess match with the car almost. You have to pretty much just focus on getting out of the corner and then setting up for the next one. You can't really get too involved into a battle once the tires go away. Sure, you want to make moves, but eventually when you're trying to pass somebody and making some aggressive moves here, Finian, that's when we'll see the mistakes start to happen. So right now, if you're guys like Butler or Hinton, who we've seen get loose but hang on to it, you're probably just in the mindset of getting through the corner and hanging on for dear life. There you see a big slide into one, actually, from Hinton. So out of 2 into 1, those are his trouble spots so far, and he's doing a good job of hanging on to it and still battling. Jeremiah Vincent gets loose again. Good save, but really, to answer your question a little more directly, it's just a matter of, I guess, playing with the throttle and getting into a rhythm. Eventually, after enough laps of, saving the car like that, you get used to it. It just becomes second nature, and then when you put a new set of tires on, everything's so different that you have to totally reset your mind. But right now, I think these guys are doing a good job of hanging on, and you see the 3 car now moving up as well from 19th to 11th.
Yeah, so you have some guys moving in from the back of the field to the front here. And that seems to be the name of the game. And again, we're still pretty early on in this race. We're just below lap 20. And so already some guys making some big gains through the field and a lot of racing going on around 9th and 10th place.
Yeah, these guys are all just kind of bunched up right now around that top 10 cutoff. You see the 3 actually going by the 8. That was kind of a cool moment here at Atlanta. And now the 8 fighting back on the top side.
Sheldon
That's
loose.
Vincent. Oh, good call, actually. The 51 down on the apron, loose, off pace, and he's going to lose a lot of spots. I do believe that's who that was, right?
Yeah, it was Ryan Sheldon in the 51. He was on the apron really loose. It almost... Oh, yeah, he took a violent run through the grass. Let's see if we can try to...
But there was a bit of a move there with, or I guess a bit of contact there with Alec Martinez. Those two come together in the quad oval, and Finian, that goes back to what I was talking about. The quad oval is extremely loose with these cup cars, and I think, Alec Martinez found that out.
Yeah, wow, Sheldon went for a great run there. Almost came up to the racing surface into the cars that were running around him. Kept it down there tight, but he's going to lose a lot of track position, and also have a damaged race car.
Yeah, no, at this point, these guys just want to settle in. If they get up, I keep saying settle in. That is going to be the name of the game, I guess. But Ryan Shelton, I'll try and use different terminology here, just has to kind of regroup. There we go. That's something new. Kind of get back into a groove, and obviously Pride's going to be injured, just like Chris Gutierrez, but he's not so far back. Really, if we get a caution, I mean, the damage will be minimal at best. He just gets right back into it. It's certainly going to hurt him now. If we only get green flag pit stops, it's going to hurt him throughout the race, but eventually if he can get maybe 5 seconds each pit stop, it's not going to affect him too badly. Really, it's not even that bad as it is, especially for a track like this where it's about aero but also about handling. So we'll see how the 51 progresses throughout the race, all the way back in 21st now, Finian, but he has a good chance to come back through the field. He was doing really good before that misfortune.
Yeah, and it popped up earlier there, but yeah, started in 5th, now all the way back to 21st, so he's got some work to do tonight. But up towards the front of the field, still looking at Eli Hinton, currently battling Andrew Schwimmer now for the 8th place, so he's really, really making some ground up. And also Telganov, too, has been very quiet, more quiet than Hinton. He's moved all the way up to 7th, and again, started all the way back in 19th.
Yeah, this 3 is really impressing me right now. And there he goes, just straight by Alec Martinez like he's standing still. So as the 3 passes the 18, actually a bit of a drive into the corner there from the 18 of Martinez. And you kind of have to do that to run the top side. Got to run just a little bit further into the corner. We'll see if he gets the run out of the corner. Just a little bit, but isn't really able to hang. That top side is going to be more and more important as the rubber gets laid down. I think once we get about halfway into this race, Finian, we'll start to see that top side really open up. It definitely comes in. It's just going to take a lot of rubber.
And then again, trying to charge in on the inside of the 38. It's still trying to move up some spots, and he can definitely do it. Looks like actually the 18 of Martinez is a little bit off the pace, and I wonder if that contact with Shelton is kind of throwing him off a bit. It looks like he has some left rear damage, and I wonder if that's affecting him.
You know, it might mostly just be that he's trying to kind of relax a little bit. Obviously, he got loose in the quad oval, and so his car must be getting loose just about everywhere on the racetrack. It probably just wants to settle in. I don't know if that damage is necessarily going to hurt him too much. It's rather minimal. I mean, compare it to the 51's damage, and again, it's pretty minimal. So I'm not sure how much it's affecting him. It's certainly a possibility, though, Finian. We'll have to see if maybe we get a chance to talk to him later on after the race. It's really tough to tell, though, from the broadcast standpoint, even though I race these cars weekly, I really don't know.
Yeah, really the only one who truly knows how damaged his car is Alec Martinez. But yeah, right now kind of dropping back a few spots, so hopefully you can see him turn this around later on. But I gotta say though, we haven't really talked about it, but it's a nice solid green flag run here by these guys. It's not something you see at Atlanta too often. You know, someone or the other usually gets into an accident, some sort of brings out the caution. But we're in for a solid 27 lap green flag run here.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I'm coming into this league after quite a while away from it, but we do have the stage coming up at, I believe, lap 35. Is that a caution as well?
Yeah, that is. So the stage caution will come out. Top 5 will be awarded points at lap 35, as Andrew said. So these guys only have a few more laps to keep on going. Whoa! Someone violently just shot across the track. That's the 36 of Elliott Butler. Wow, almost hit the inside wall there. He's going to keep it going straight, but definitely probably had a heart attack. Meanwhile, we'll try to catch that on the replay. That was very, very violent.
Driving at Elliott Butler to hang on to that race car and not make it worse.
Yeah, I was almost wrecked at that point. Just a little bit of a tap to the inside wall to save it, and I think that helped him, if anything. So yeah, gonna keep it going straight and gonna try to rejoin this race. And again, caution's gonna come out in a few laps, so he should be able to reset. But I think he's got to be a little bit disappointed with that after the run he was having.
Well, actually, 5.5 laps to go to the stage break, and we've got Andrew Telgenhoff on the back end of Angelo Horonis, and this is going to be a battle here. The 9 has been ahead of the 3 for a while, but actually started behind him, and now that 3 car is coming back, looking for some positions and some points here at the stage, and he's going to get the spot through turns 3 and 4, makes the pass. 5 to go for the stage.
Yeah, that's a stage. That's a stage point for him in 5th place right now. But definitely one guy who's doing everything he needs to do. Haven't talked about him a lot. Wow, just slotted in behind a lap car. That's Eric Hutton in the 88 doing a fantastic job. In 2nd, he's going to have a nice 4 points, 4 stage points to his name in a few laps so he can keep on going. Doing a fantastic job at the moment.
Yeah, he really has been maintaining a perfect gap up to Jacob Hall. If anything happens to the 43, he's suddenly in the lead, and he has just been joining that 43 and driving away from the rest of the field. Mark Emerson, another 5.5 seconds behind 2nd place Eric Hutton. So as far as the championship goes, he's doing everything he needs to do. The only thing he needs now is for Jordan Ashland to have some misfortune. And obviously, from our standpoint, you don't want to wish misfortune upon a driver, but we certainly would not, I think, turn away some drama for the championship.
Yeah, definitely so. But right now, Ashland having a decent day at the moment. He's in 9th. Hasn't made too much noise. But remember, Ashland has quite a bit of a cushion to work with. He doesn't really need to force the issue. And right now, in 9th, he is in place to win the championship. So he's also doing everything he needs to do as well.
Yeah, this goes back to the days of when Jimmy Johnson could win those 5 titles without winning the race at Homestead. He never actually won a race at Homestead despite his 6 previous championships until 2016 when he won his 7th. So, I mean, that tells you really how easy the 27 can drive here, Vinian. He really does not have to do any better than where he's doing, or I think he said 17th position. So, really, he just has to be here and finish the race. I think that's really all he has to do, pretty much. Doing a great job of it as we come to, I believe, 1.5 laps to go until the stage break.
Yeah, and one thing we actually missed, I just caught the end of it. Telgenhoff all the way up to 3rd. He got on Emerson and Joshua Banks, and he is laying waste to a lot of people tonight. And honestly, he might be a car to compete with as we're coming to the stage caution. I believe when every car on the lead lap passes the start-finish line. And yep, there it is. So caution's going to be out, and Telgenhoff, great job driving all the way up to 3rd place when the stage ends. But our stage winner at the moment is going to be Jacob Hall in the 43. You can see it on your left there. So you have Hall in 1st, Eric Hutton in 2nd, Andrew Telgenhoff in 3rd, Mark Emerson 4th, and Joshua Banks is going to round out your top 5 in the 5 points earning positions for the stage.
And that's big for Eric Hutton, getting some more points, but he still has a long ways to go here. I mean, we still have, what, 100 laps to go, and he still has to hopefully get that championship pretty much handed to him. I don't want to say handed to him, but the 27 still has to lose a lot of spots here. So Eric Hutton doing what he has to do, getting those stage points, but still a long ways to go. Either way, congrats to the top 5 for these stage points.
Yeah, and as the field gets caught up with the pace car here, we're going to have ourselves some pit stops now, and I can imagine every single car on the track is going to come down pit road. I think you're kind of a fool not to at this point. It's pretty much a free pit stop.
Well, actually, if you're Jordan Ashland, I believe the league hands out a bonus point for leading a lap. You could stay out here and actually pit the second time around, so even get that lap led. It could actually help you out in case something happens later on, and it would not be a bad idea considering he doesn't have to finish too highly, and he still has 100 laps to rebound.
Yeah, well, here comes everyone diving off pit road, and down they come. Can't say I see anyone staying out at the moment. Looks like everyone's coming in.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, you want to come in and get tires. I guess, theoretical situation would be the only time I think anyone would appropriately stay out. But as Jacob Hall gets into his pit box and Eric Hutton behind him, Eric Hutton actually backs up into his pit stall. So overshot it, still backing up. The 18 as well. Alec Martinez just straight through his pit box.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him a lot. So we're going to see, does he quickly go to a 2-tire? No, he's going to continue on with the 4-tire stop. And here comes everyone else out of pit road. So it looks like Jacob Hall is going to lead them out. Followed by Telganoff, Emerson, Banks, Fronis, Hinton, Hutton is going to come out in 7th. So he's going to lose a lot of spots there on pit road.
That and these two championship contenders are going to be racing side by side here on this restart, Finian. Going to be a good battle, I think, between the 88 and the 27. Ashland did what he had to do on the pit stop, just got out as quickly as he could, and comes out right behind Eric Hutton. So a bit of a slide there for the 88, but with how fast he was, I don't think it's going to hold him back for too long. I think he definitely has the car to at least go up there and get a top 3 finish.
Alright, so we'll try to update everyone on the field. So from the looks of it, we have nearly everyone on the lead lap. We have 23 cars that started this race, and it looks, from the looks of things, it looks like we have 22 of them on the lead lap, and I believe the only one who is not is Steven Turner in the 26. He's in 23rd. I believe he is done for the day. Or no,
he's actually getting his wave around.
Oh yeah, he's on the track. Okay, so yeah, so he's still on the track. So we do have all 23 cars here. He's currently 7 laps down, so he's got some work to do to try to get back on the lead lap. A little bit of a tall order, but who knows? We might see the aggression pick up quite a bit here from here on out. So he may or may not be able to get his laps back, but a tall order for him. He's gonna get his wave around and try to get back into this thing.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an extremely exciting restart here. Obviously, this might be your only yellow with how green we were the first 34 laps. You kind of have to go for some spots here. I mean, if you're just here for the possibility of winning, I think why not? If you're an Andrew Telgenhoff, if you're a Mark Emerson, why not go for some spots here? Granted, they only have a short ways to go to the front and get to the lead, but, I mean, they have the lead right in front of them. If you can unseat Jacob Hall right now and get the track position for later on, you may as well go for it. Other guys you might want to consider it. Eli Hinton was moving up through the field there on that first run. If he can get by a couple of guys here, he's suddenly in the top 3.
And Hinton's all the way back now to, sorry, not all the way back. He's all the way up to 6th, so he's done a great job as well, moving up through the field as well, telling off. So honestly, I gotta ask you, Andrew, from what you've seen so far, who are you liking as far as winning this race?
Well, I mean, it's hard to beat against the guy who's led every lap so far. Jacob Hall has a great car, obviously, but with the way Telgenhoff was mastering the field on that long run, granted he was some 6 or 7 seconds back from the leaders, we haven't seen him race the leaders yet, so I think he has a pretty good chance here. We have to wait and see how this battle goes, I think, but it certainly comes down to the 43-3, and believe me, that is not the first time anyone said that for a race win. So the 43-3, very iconic numbers, and thankfully we at least have one iconic paint scheme out there in one of those 2 cars. Going to have a pretty good battle here, I think.
All right, so we got arguably some of the strongest cars in the field. They've worked their way up to the front, and we should have ourselves a hell of a race on our hands from here on out. These guys are going to go green on lap 40. We have about 100 laps to go. It's going to be hopefully green from here on out. Green flag's back in the air. Jacob Hall is going to lead them down.
And another big jump out of the 43. Gets a big lead off into turn number 1. The 3 and 22 left battling into turn 1. The 9 car now entering the fray. It's a 35 on the outside, losing some spots, but Jacob Hall with a big lead already. Telgenhoff trying to get that run on the top side. Going to get a big drive down the back straightaway. Comes back even with the 22 and now is leading that.
Oh, we got someone spinning in the back.
3.
Trying to see who that is. Is that the...
I actually don't see the spinner. Someone may have gone around and then saved it.
No, someone was parked there. I can't see. It might have been the 87. Not entirely sure. We'll try to cut back to that at some point. But we got a battle on our hands here. Eric Hutton looked to the inside of Mark Emerson. He's all the way back into third. What a fantastic charge up.
So quickly, I was checking on that. Eric Hutton actually, yeah, makes the move for third place. A big drive for that 88. It was the 87. He, I think, escaped as quickly as he could. So he's already out. But that was the 87 spinning on the back straightaway there. Just a single car incident. But now the 88 and the 3, Eric Hutton bringing the battle to Telgenhoff. And we saw Telgenhoff really catching those guys at the later part of that run. But now I think Eric Hutton just solidified his place in the top 2. Just drove by these guys and is suddenly back in second place.
Yeah, some great action out here on the track. Hutton, you can see pretty much from his driving just the desperation of how much he wants to win this championship. He's going to do everything it takes. He's doing everything he needs to right now. He's up into second, but he needs to chase down the 43 in front of him if he wants a chance to win.
Well, he's right back to where that gap was before the stage break here, Finian. So if he can just maintain that, I think he's going to be okay for a while. Obviously, we'll have at least one pit stop, I'd imagine, between now and the end of the race. So, you know, with just under 100 laps to go, I think 97 that time by. There's still a lot of laps to go. Anything can still change. If he can just maintain the gap right now, he's in a really, really good spot as Telgenhoff loses another position that time to Eli Hinton.
Yeah, we got some action here back in the pack. We have the 36 of Elliot Butler. Remember, he went for a spin before the stage caution came out, and he's right now all the way back up into 10th, trying to work around the 75 of Robert Gaba ahead of him.
Yeah, and Gaba started 15th, was up to 10th, or so, Nari, wow, that was bad. Wow, so Nari. Okay, we're doing good here tonight. But no, he started 16th, was up into 9th, now 10th, as actually Butler gets back by him from the start. He started just ahead of Gaba, actually to the inside in 15th. So Butler, I think, starting to redeem himself, now going after championship leader. I believe that, yeah, Jordan Ashland. How am I getting names mixed up already? But anyways, that 27, I think, is looking pretty strong. Just needs to do what he has, or just needs to stay where he is. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. I think if he just stays right where he is, he's okay. And actually, he's going for a position here, going to the outside of the 38 of Andrew Schmier, looking for that spot. Gets the run out of turn 4. Maybe gets a little loose off the wall and onto it. And no, doesn't have a run that time. But that top side is actually going to be good. Like I said, later on in these runs, I think it's going to come in.
Yeah, but right now, wow, it looks like Butler and Ashland are trying to split Schwimmer 3 wide. Ashland backs all the way out of it. He's going to lose a lot of ground now. He's going to drop all the way back into 10th and maybe 11th as Reggie Ortega looks to have wanting to have a say in this fight.
Yeah, suddenly that 2 car is here, and here comes the 4 as well. Jeremiah Vincent following him up. I have to imagine those two are brothers, but going back to the front of this little battle, Butler ahead of the 38 and the 75, now going after Mark Emerson in the number 22, who has since fallen back after restarting third. But right now the battle is on between Gaba and Schmier, I'm not totally sure. And Ashland's just kind of watching this one as a spectator.
Yeah, but again, all he needs to do is really just maintain his position. He doesn't need to really force the issue. As long as he can maintain around where he's running, he should be good, all things considered. So he's just going to have to settle in behind Gaba at the moment. Maybe but knowing him, he probably wants to get around him.
Yeah, I mean, you're still a race car driver at this point, albeit on a sim. You still want to get positions, you still want to race. So we'll see what Ashland does here. It would not be a bad idea if he can try and get himself to save some tires here for a while as actually Gaba goes for that spot. Looks like he's going to get it. Slide jump, clears that 38. That was masterful right there. That was a pretty good move. Gaba making a very good move for that position. That puts him up into P8.
Oh, but here comes Ashland now looking to the inside of Schmier, and he's going to try to get the move done into turn 1 they go. And Schmier's going to try to get a run back on the outside, but it is Gaba ahead of him, kind of pinching him.
Yeah, Ashland didn't have the hole that Gaba had to get up in front of that number 38, but this time off into 3, we'll see if he can. No, he's not going to be able to get a slide job done. Going to have to stay on the bottom side at least for another corner here, as now the 36 of Butler bringing the battle to the 22 of Mark Emerson just ahead of these guys. Mark Emerson starting to slide back more and more. Started 4th, restarted 3rd, and is since losing some positions now into 6th.
Yeah, and Butler honestly is showing some new life here after that spin, all the way up in the 7th now, looking on 6. So he's got a car to compete with at the moment. I see Emerson get into the wall there.
Yeah, Emerson seems to be struggling, but I actually just clicked ahead to the lead, and Finian, we have a battle shaping up. Eric Hutton now within 3/10, if you can believe it, has driven up to Jacob Hall and is bringing the battle to that 43 car within 3/10, actually 2.5 that time by.
Whoa, wow, Hutton was very loose off of 2 there. Looked like he was going to go for a spin towards the infield, but he's going to keep it straight. Lost a little bit of ground, but he's going to keep it going.
Yeah, just as I praise him for getting under 2.5, he goes and makes it 4 again. But we'll see what he can do here across the line. We'll get the scoring update, and he loses some time for sure, now 4.5, but still has driven up to that 43, just about loses some time, but I think is still in a pretty prime position moving forward throughout this run. It seems like he has a pretty darn good car, and we did not see this much life out of that 80.
Towards the back of the field, looks like Emerson gone into the wall here. He's going to lose a ton of positions.
Oh man, the 4's passing him here. Josiah Vincent.
Yeah, so he might have gone up a little bit too high, or maybe backed out or hit the wall. I want to say the latter, but yeah, Emerson's 9's just not going well at all. He's in 10th, about to lose 11th.
Yeah, but I think if he can, again, we're going to keep using this term, beating it like a dead horse. I think if he can settle in here, he'll be okay. Just needs to kind of back his corners up, try and maybe turn the car down a little bit more in center, and he's going to have fewer issues off the corner. I think if he can drive it straight off the corner rather than having to put a bunch of wheel in it through the latter half of it. So if he can just kind of straighten things out a little bit, get back into a rhythm, I think he'll be okay. Still has a strong car, obviously. You can't just qualify in 4th by a fluke. So I think Mark Emerson sliding back, getting a little bit ahead of himself, but still has a pretty good chance of wrapping up this night pretty decently.
You can see him look into the inside of the 38 here, trying to get a move done. Just not enough. You see him sliding off of 2 now. Oh man, he's really struggling at the moment. He's going to lose. Oh, and someone's spinning in the back. Looking at the 78 of Chris Gutierrez. And he's going to slap it to the inside wall, and caution is in the air.
And that is unfortunate. Of course, we get a replay on your screen, but we watched. Changes everything. We still have a lot of laps to go, of course, but this kind of changes the whole picture up in the front. I mean, what do you do here if you're a driver? Obviously, I can give my 2 cents, but what do you do here if you're a driver?
Oh, honestly, I would say the best thing to do is kind of get those 4 tires. The grip really just kind of helps, not really with so much with speed, but more so just handling and how it feels in your hands. So I'm sure these guys are a lot to feel like the car to feel a lot more comfortable under their hands by having some fresher tires on rather than slipping and sliding all over the track. So I think these guys would take 4 tires. Maybe you might see some guys take 2 who are further on back and want to move up some positions.
Well, that time Eric Hutton nails his pit stop, as well as Jacob Hall ahead of him. I don't see anyone sliding through the pit box this time. And you see the 18 crawl into his pit box. Alec Martinez making sure he will not go through that time. As jacks go down, Hutton gets away pretty quickly, and he's going to, I think, take the lead here.
Yeah, and he does. And you see Hinton in the 13 is going to move up some spots. Andrew Telganoff is going to be in 4th. Hronis in 5th, and Gavin in 6th. So a lot of actually some swapping here going on. Some of the guys you saw up a bit further back, and some changes up in the top 5.
And that's got to suck for Jacob Hall. You've led every lap to this point, and you lose the lead in pit lane. But Obviously, it seems like he still has the best, maybe the one of the better cars, if not the best car, but still, I mean, has the speed to lead this race. We'll see what he can do on this restart from the second position. I mean, the start and the restart at lap 38 or so, we saw him get a big jump on the rest of the field, but this time, that advantage gets handed off to Eric Hutton. So we'll see what Eric Hutton can do with it. Realistically, Finian, this could actually present some issues for some of the field now in some different positions, especially Eric Hutton. Now you want to go so much earlier, but you have to watch that wheel spin.
Yeah, and I mean, I wonder too, if you're Jacob Paul, and probably the most dominant car on the track at the moment, do you want to, kind of let Hutton get out in front, settle in behind him, and wait for his tires to fall off and then drive around him, or do you want to try to go after him when you have the freshest tires?
Well, obviously, we don't know exactly how hard Jacob Hall was pushing there on that last run, but with the speed that the 88 showed there for a while, I would actually be pretty concerned if I'm Jacob Hall here, because that guy is battling for a championship, and he drove back to Jacob Hall. So if I'm Jacob Hall on the 43, I'm actually a little bit concerned here about the speed that the 88 was showing there through the mid part of that short run we had. I don't necessarily know that it's going to end up this way when the night is over, but it's certainly looking more and more likely that Eric Hutton can at least battle for the win.
All right, to set the field for you for this restart, we got the 88 of Eric Hutton. He's going to move up into first place. He's also going to critically lead a lap that's going to help him in the championship. Then we have Jacob Hall in the 43 in second, Eli Hinton in the 13 in third, and Andrew Telganoff in fourth, Angelo Hronis, in fifth, Robert Gaba in 6th, Jordan Ashland in 7th, Elliot Butler 8th, Andrew Schwimmer 9th, and then rounding out your top 10 will be Josiah Vincent in 10th.
And yeah, this changes things up. The other Vincent going to be restarting in 11th, then it's Ryan Shelton, Reggie Ortega, Eddie Trejo, and Alec Daffin actually rounding out your top 15. The rest of the guys back there, Nicholas Kressel, Mark Emerson actually from 4th to 17th, Alec Martinez back there in 18th, then Ben Bafford, Chris Gutierrez now out of the race, Steven Turner trying to get some laps back, and Joshua Banks and William Troy both out of this event. Finian back up to the front, though. Eric Hutton coming to restart in first for the first time all night. And this is only the third start we're going to have. This is going to be an exciting one, I think. Eli Hinton suddenly has a chance to go for second place and actually hang on to it, I think. He just might have the chance to do it here against Jacob Hall.
Yeah, it's all going to be said and done once they go back green. We'll see really who... if Hutton does have enough fight to get past the 43, he's in the best spot to do it at the moment, so we'll see now as the pace car is going to pull off. Alright, so pace car is going to make the turn off of into pit road. Eric Hutton's going to lead them down to green. Green flags back in the air, Atlanta.
And you see, not quite as big of a jump here for Hutton, but still a pretty decent lead off into turn one. As Eli Hinton going to bring the battle to Jacob Hall down the bottom side. It's going to be the 9 of Hronis underneath Telgenhoff for third. Actually, fourth, rather. Telgenhoff gets the big drive down the back straightaway, going to, I think, clear the 9 by turn 3. But here comes the 43 back on the 13, off into turn 3, and Hinton just gives the spot away. Now looking for the crossover. Can he drive back underneath Hall? No, not yet. But he's certainly going to be trying off into turn 1 here, Finian.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can to do it. Try to do the over/under, as you're saying, but just couldn't get it done. Those tires on this start are just so powerful. He can really hold the line. And how about Hronis now trying to hold off the 75 of Robert Gaba behind him?
Yeah, Gaba's actually showing some speed here, as well as Butler just behind these two. Ashland, keep in mind, is right in this battle as well, so some championship implications if one of these guys messes up as Gaba completes the pass, slides up a little bit out of turn 4. You see some guys actually sliding up behind these guys, actually. Josiah Vincent, one of those in the Napa Auto Parts number 4, actually kind of really went up the track out of 4, but now you see the 38, Schmier getting real close to the back end of Jordan Ashland. I'll get names right eventually. As now Butler drives down to the inside of Hronis down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and also as you were saying that he got really close to his bumper, we have to really say and keep in mind that if Ashland gets wrecked out of this race, and I'm talking terminal, I see Schmier get really close to it there. If he gets wrecked out, it's going to be pretty much championship over if Eric Hutton can hold this lead, and he's doing a fantastic job at the moment. So Ashland can't afford any mistakes right now. He's got to at least keep where he's at.
Cronus with the big drive, trying to get to the outside of Butler, can't do it, but that top side is starting to come in here, and it's right about halfway, just a little beforehand, so I was pretty correct there. This top side is starting to open up with just a little bit more for these guys. Now that rubber's down on the bottom side of the racetrack, it's starting to heat up, and that top side is presenting some options for these drivers. Cronus a little bit loose out of turn 4, but right now, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of these guys, moving around, looking for grip. Ashlyn all the way up to the wall that time, looking for some speed. He might just have a big run down the back straightaway. Not quite.
Yeah, looks like Cronus is going to hold it in front of him at the moment, keep Ashlyn at bay. But looking up towards the front, it looks like Hutton's got a huge lead. He's got 0.7 of a second ahead of Jacob Hall in the 43. So he's doing a fantastic job at the moment.
And as these guys settle in, I've been watching the time differentials up ahead. The 43 is starting to slide a tiny bit, starting to fall closer and closer to the clutches of Eli Hinton once more. Eli Hinton trying to drive back to the 43 car. Meanwhile, Jacob Hall, I think, is trying to probably drive down Eric Hutton. I'd imagine at this point, if you're going for the win, if you're Jacob Hall, you want to start and at least make some progress, even if it's just a half a tenth. But right now, Jacob Hall going backwards at the moment. And I think Eric Hutton is really showing the speed that he's had. Gets another 10th that lap as Eli Hinton continues to close in that 43 car.
Yeah, as you look back here, you have Fronis now looking to the inside of Butler. Butler trying to charge it in on the outside. Looks like he's going to keep ahead of Fronis and hold 6th place.
And watching these guys, it's like they kind of just have different lines, and it looks like they want to pass, but they're really just kind of hanging on. Some of these guys, obviously, they drive off into the corner. They want to make the pass, but at the same time, you know, we're going to see different lines out of these guys, different ways to attack the corner, and obviously you can drive it in further as long as you can blow it down in center of the corner and still make the exit. So, you know, obviously they could very well be going for passes, but at the same time, they could just be trying to get through the corner their way. So Cronus a little bit loose out of 2 that time, just ahead of Ashley. I think that 27 is looking a bit more stable at the moment, moving further back, actually, watching some battles. We've got the 4 of Vincent hanging on to that position ahead of Shelton, and a little further back, Shelton is the other Vincent.
Yeah, looking up ahead, it looks like a... Oh, we got a caution out on the track. Oh, and I think it's Mark Emerson.
Oh, no, you're right, actually, the 22 car. I knew there was a double number falling back through the standings, and the 22 was absolutely demolished. I tell you what, that looks like my USA Speedway car from Fuel. But aside from that, trying to replicate Kyle Larson here actually gets into it with Alec Daffin. He kind of, we'll get it on your replay here on your screen, but it looks like Alec was just going for a pass, and unfortunately, Mark Emerson just got a little bit tight out of 4 that time and washes up into the 20 car, and it's actually...
Yeah, and here we have it up on the replay here. Might have actually gone back a little bit too far. We're going to try to move up time a little bit. But yeah, you're seeing right now here as they head into 3, we have Emerson and Daffin now side by side. And as they go through 4, so here's where it's going to happen. You see Daffin get to his outside and send him up into the wall. And, ooh, yeah, that hit from the 26 looks like what caused the damage to Emerson. So tough break for Emerson. He's going to have to pretty much call it a day. But right now we have pit stops happening on the track.
And Eric Hutton, I think, got into his pit stall pretty solidly again. Actually got the right side jack up before the 43 team. And so Eric Hutton, I think, in a good chance to take this lead back, or, well, maintain it, I suppose, as we're going to watch the battle off of the pit lane. Eric Hutton lights those tires up first. Can he beat the 43 to the line? It's going to be close. Whoa! I think the 43 got him.
Oh, wow.
That is a heck of a race out of the pit lane, and I think Jacob Hall took the lead back.
Someone whip out a camera and take a picture of that. That was incredible. Looks like Hall has currently got the lead ahead, so it looks like he won that race off pit road. That was really, really close.
Yeah, thanks to the gift of telemetry here, I can see Jacob Hall actually lit the tires up a little bit to try and get ahead. He was doing 52 miles an hour just a moment before the line, and then actually slowed down to 50. Meanwhile, Eric Hutton actually sped off, but didn't actually get the penalty considering average speed figures that out. So Eric Hutton was doing 52 as he exited there, but man, that's unfortunate because now they've both gone through losing the lead because of the pit lane, not even because of a mistake on the track. So that, I think, as a driver, that hurts more than just getting passed.
Yeah, so while these guys are pacing, so let's go over the conditions where Eric Hunt needs that to win the championship. So right now he's done a decent amount of what he needed to do. He obviously hasn't won the race yet. We'll determine that. We're actually, speaking of which, about halfway through towards the finish of this race. But he's pretty set to do so. He's currently running in second. He did not get a point for pole position. He didn't lead the most laps as of yet. He has led a lap and finished second in the stage. So right now it is all falling to Ashland's favor. But again, we still got a bit of racing left to go. And if Ashland ends up crashing out, it will fall into Eric Hutton's favor.
Yeah, coming to the halfway mark perfectly here, Finian. Ashland looks to have the advantage, but then again, I mean, he's just doing what he has to do. I don't think it comes to any surprise. Jordan Ashland, again, just has to finish, I think, top 17? That's not going to be hard to do, especially with that last caution we just had. So unless Emerson can get back out there as well as Daffin and actually contend for something, and then Ashland still has to get taken out, I'm not sure Jordan Ashland's going to lose this title here, honestly. He doesn't have it wrapped up just yet, but it's certainly almost a 99-1.
Real quick, I have everything muted. For the instant replays, don't talk over. This is not your fault. I didn't tell you this, but for the instant replays, my thing when I have to cut back and try to find it, it doesn't have your audio going through, because you're connected to my desktop audio, so I have that muted at the moment. So when I'm cutting back for the replay, I'll say I'm cutting back for the replay. Just don't say anything yet until I find it and I start talking. Then I'll let you take over with that. It's just so I don't have you cut off in the middle of what you're saying. All right, so as we're halfway at the moment. These guys are going to get ready to go back green. We saw some great racing on track, and hopefully we're going to see some more intense and better racing on the track. Well, that's a lot to ask for what these guys have given us tonight. Some fantastic racing, good green flag runs, but now pace car is going to pull off turn 4, and it's going to be the 43 Jacob Hall. Is going to lead them down to the green. Green flag's back in the air here in Atlanta.
And a big jump and a poor restart out of Eric Hutton there. Jacob Hall going to have a big lead now over that 88 car, but Eli Hinton slots into second place as a few guys on the top side got terrible restarts. There's a lot of positions here, but luckily this place presents really good passing opportunities, so they'll be able to get those spots back, as now it looks like Elliott Butler has something to say about that top 3.
Oh yeah, but meanwhile, Telganoff went all the way down below the white line. He was very loose off the corner, and so was Schmier behind him. They're going to lose some spots, and it's a whole gaggle of cars here coming off of 4.
Telgenhoff going to nose just ahead of the 8 car, looking for a position maybe on Hronis through 1 and 2 right here. Meanwhile,
whoa, got some contact. 8 is around.
The 8 in the wall, hard.
Oh, wow, and the 60 just annihilated them. Came in there flying. He's going to hit the 8 harder than he did initially from getting hit by the wall, and that's going to be pretty much night over for the 8 of Vincent. We're going to try to catch a replay of what happened. Alright, so we're looking at what happened here, and it looks like the 38 of Schmier got into him. A little bit of netco there, but violent hit to the outside wall.
Yeah, there was just a slight bit of netcode there, Finian, but realistically, I mean, they were really close to touching either way, so you can't fault the iRacing algorithms there too much, but the 60 just comes flying in. Ben Bafford just, I'm not sure, I'm sure he was trying to slow down and probably just locked up, but that is a nasty hit after the fact there for the 8 car.
Yeah, you can see here on the replay too that the 8 of Vincent is smoking, so that car is pretty much done for. for the rest of the day. So unfortunate end for the 8 of Vincent. He was his engine actually blew on the back straightaway, so he is definitely done, and that's very unfortunate for the 8 car.
Yeah, that's no wonder that that car is done, considering it was up and over every which way. I mean, he was flipping through the air.
Alright, as we cut back to the field, looks like we don't have any takers. Actually, we do have some takers towards the back of the field, so now we're going to start seeing some mixed strategies at play.
Yeah, this is the first pit stop where things are going to change up, I think, considering we got the caution so close to a previous yellow. So you see Schmier come in as well as Caressel. You also have the 18 of Martinez probably coming in to fix more damage. But I also see Daffin and Gaba in as there goes Vincent, the number 4 car, off the pit lane as well.
Yeah, Robert Gaba has been running pretty well recently. And so is 38 of Schmier. They were both had some pretty decent runs. And now they're going to have some nice fresh tires. Again, these guys haven't gotten too much under their the guys up in front don't have too much load on their tires as of yet. They've only been green for about a lap or so, it's not going to be too much wear, but it might help these guys towards the back a bit.
Yeah, it's not going to be a huge difference here. As you see, actually some of these guys may be trying to get some of the dust off the top lane. Not a bad idea. Kind of a dirt track thing there that these guys are employing. I'm not sure if it's actually going to help. I'm not even sure if they're trying to do it, but you can go up there under yellow, pace on the top side, and try and clear that top lane off. That's actually a really good idea. You could do it in dirt racing too. Try to pick up some of the loose stuff on the bottom side, try and open that up, or the top side, wherever it may be. Maybe even just try to keep the tires cool. So try and get it in the moist dirt. But that's actually a really smart play. I'm not sure if they're trying to do that, but if so, that is a smart play. I mean, IQ a million pretty much to go out there and try and clear that top lane off. It's actually, super smart because we come in and, obviously service settings through iRacing allow these guys to set the track how they want it. And marbles and dust are left on track. So, it's probably pretty gritty up there. So if they can pick some of that stuff up and try and move it higher up, they can actually try and open that top lane up just a bit more. And that's going to be important on these restarts.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't really see else why Hinton would be all the way up there. He's really close to the wall, so I would imagine he's probably doing something of the sorts like you're saying. But yeah, again, like you're saying, IQ a million, that's some really advanced strategy that you see guys on the pro level do. So very smart thinking there. And we'll see how that works for Hinton. Hinton's been doing a great job all the way up into second. He was able to snag second away before the caution came out away from Elliott Butler. Butler's going to drop back to third.
Yeah, Butler actually is in a pretty good spot here. If that top line gets going on this restart as opposed to the previous restart, Elliott Butler might have something here for the top 3. We know the 43, 13, and 88 have been extremely quick all day long so far, but suddenly that 36 is in the bag and look in 5th place. It's the 27 of Jordan Ashland looking for that championship. And right now he would be locking it up by a mile. So that's certainly good news for him. But now Eric Hutton has to keep that in mind. He's got even more pressure to deal with. Obviously, he knew he pretty much had to win regardless. But now, he's even got the 27 on his bumper.
Yeah, but really all he needs to do is just look forward, look at the cars ahead of him, and try to get around him. Again, easier said than done up from a commentating booth, but that's really what he needs to do. Just ignore the 27, act like he doesn't exist, and then just charge forward and do the best that he can. And honestly, he's definitely a guy to do it. If anyone in the field could do it, honestly, I would say it's probably the 88 car. He's been doing well these last few races, just hasn't had the luck come to him, but he's doing a great job tonight. Hopefully, he continue it. Alright, so we're going to go green here as we're coming to lap 78. After a short green flag run here, pace car is going to make the turn off into pit road. 43 is going to lead them down to green as he's going to actually wait quite a bit. There he goes, waits for the green flag to come out. He's going to launch away, green flag back in the air.
And not quite a jump here for Jacob Hall. I think Eli Hinton is getting very good at timing this restart. It's bringing the battle to the 43 car. And Eli Hinton going to get a huge run right to the back end of that 43 of Hall. And these two pink cars going at it down the back straightaway. We'll see what Hinton here does into 3. Doesn't really make a move, actually lays off a bit. Good call there. Now going to draw back closer. He's much faster through the center of the corner here, Finian.
Yeah, tries to get a great run, and he was so close he couldn't see the fusion off the back bumper of Hall. That's how close Hinton was. But he's going to settle in right now, and he's putting a lot of pressure on that 43.
And this is exactly what Eric Hutton wants to see. He wants to see these two battling so he can draw back up to them. And, you know, the rest of the field battling their battles. But I think this is going to be a good one here as long as it shapes up. Hinton is a lot faster through the center, but now actually that speed is starting to go away. Here comes Hutton getting closer and closer as we have Ashland to the inside of Cronus. We have Telgenhoff right back to the outside.
I was going to say, and right behind him, how about the 51 of Ryan Shelton? His car was pretty damaged a while back. He was all the way back up to 8th. It looks like he's hungry for some positions.
Oh, he just gave a bump to our championship leader there, Jordan Ashland, through 1 and 2. So he is definitely hungry for some spots here to the outside and looking for more, as I say. And right now, I mean, he's in a bit of a box, but if he can get clear of one of these two cars and make some more moves, I think that 51 has a pretty darn good car. We talked about earlier where he had that incident with the 18, but really the damage isn't too bad, and he still has a lot of that damage, and he's running this good. So that 51 is still looking very strong. The 4 and the 38 battling just behind. And, oh, the 4 washes up. The 27 washes up. Almost contact in 2 different places right there. They keep it going, though.
Yeah, some very tight racing. You see everyone going for a lot of spots as they're available. You see guys just driving really hard right now. You see the 51, too, of Sheldon. He's stuck up behind Ashland and the 3. Not many places where he can go. So he's kind of boxed in at the moment, but I don't think he's going to let that stop him for long.
No, Shelton is looking even higher. He's looking like maybe he'd be willing to stick his nose 3 wide if he had to. Getting right to the back of the 3, getting some air up underneath that rear end of the car and still trying to hold that 27 down to the bottom line. And that's going to pay off right here. Gets that big drive down the back straightaway. Looking for a spot here. Can't clear the 27 off into the corner, but has that top line. Now the 3 is cleared the 27, so really that top line is all Shelton's.
And up towards the front, the 88 of Eric Hutton, he's caught all the way back up to Hinton now. And we have the top 3 pretty much breaking away from the rest of the pack, and they're going to have a battle on their hands.
Yeah, Hutton has been closing in ever so slightly. Really, the gap isn't too much large between the 13 and the 43. Hinton still getting that big run out of the corner and then losing it a little bit on entry. But Hutton is driven up to these two and has really put his name back in the fray. This is very good battling. I mean, this reminds me of old NASCAR with the good era packages from like 2000 or 2005, and obviously pre-2000, but that's what I'm used to anyway. Going back to where these guys could battle just in a line for a while, and this is good racing up in the front.
Yeah, a lot of competitive guys here. We've seen a bunch of different guys kind of leave and join this battle up to the front. Speaking of guys joining, how about the 36 of Elliott Butler? He's up into 4th right now, and he might have a say in this battle. We still have quite a bit of laps left to go. He might be able to catch up to these guys, or at least maintain a gap, and wait to join these guys with a fight. You see the 13 of Hinton loose off the corner, wheeling that thing. But here comes the 88 of Hutton to the inside.
Yeah, Hinton almost got the wall through the center part of the quad oval as Hutton goes to the inside, gets his nose ahead, half a car, but here comes the 13 with a big run on the outside. Can he get back even with him? Not quite. He will be even off into the corner, but it took a while, so I think Hutton, has that position off into the corner. Can Hinton battle back? I quickly want to mention that restart was actually suspiciously close to being right on the edge of a window to go to the rest of the way, so we still have over 50 laps to go here, Finian. It's going to be really, really close on whether or not these guys pit one more time.
Yeah, and honestly, part of me thinks that a decision to pit might not even be just for fuel, maybe also for some tires as well. I imagine some guys...
definitely.
Yes, just considering how abrasive Atlanta surface, and we've seen a bunch of guys getting loose off the corner. Some guys might come down to try to get some fresher tires, and we've seen in, I believe it was the Hardline Cup Series, the race that was there, their tires wore off a lot, and pitting was able to give you a second or two advantage over guys on older tires, so we might see some guys try to do a split strategy on that.
Yeah, for sure, but you really have to make your mind up quickly here, because if you're going to save the fuel to do it and the tire, you have to start now, if not 10 laps ago. So I'm not sure if these guys are running full bore right now that they can do it. I think at this point you've kind of made your bed. You have to lie in it. Unless we get a yellow here, you're pretty much counting on a one more pit stop under green kind of deal, and actually that'll be the first time we see green flag pit stops if this thing goes green for the rest of the distance. We still have 53 laps to go that time by, and these guys are getting ever looser, kind of like the first couple of runs we saw here, Finian. I see Hinton moving around a lot.
Yeah, he's moving around a lot. You can see him really kind of just pushing And again, the more you push, the more wear you have on your hands as far as your tires are concerned. So it's kind of that battle where you got to manage between pushing your car to its limit, but also saving your tires. And it looks very squirrely.
Further back, another battle that's looking pretty nice is Telgenhoff around Hronis, and here comes Ashlyn actually to the outside of Shelton, or at least trying to get there, as the 9-car of Hronis kind of lets that position go to Telgenhoff for now. But Ryan Shelton looking pretty good here, but here comes the 27, trying to get back to that 51 car, the Amazon Prime Toyota. And right now, I think Ashlyn actually has a pretty good car, just hasn't been pushing. And so that's pretty good to see for him anyways. But we actually see Josiah Vincent making some ground up here too.
Yeah, a lot of guys, again, trying to make some noise in this later part of the race. And especially, I just can't talk enough about the 51 of Ryan Shelton, man. It's impressive to see. I thought his car was pretty much done, and I didn't think you would see much more of him up here. But he's back now in 7th. And, I mean, from the looks of just looking at the stats-wise, he started in 5th, he's running in 7th. But for him, he went pretty much to the back of the field and drove his way up. He might have actually gone a lap down at some point, but is able to work his way back up slowly but surely. And now he's fighting for some positions here. He's not just staying up in the top, around the top 10. He's trying to break into the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Shelton's comeback is on the way here. He's up into 7th, looking for more. And actually, man, Ashlyn just gets such a good run out of the corner, now to the inside of the 51 car. Can he make a move here? Can he even draw to the door of the 51? Yes, but that run out of the corner going to favor Shelton. And the 4 gets loose. Vincent hangs on to it. Good save there from Josiah Vincent. Going to lose a spot, though, to Andrew Smear.
Yeah, it looks like he made a clip through the grass there, was able to hold it off, but behind, not behind, ahead, we have the 3 of Telgenhoff driving around the 36 of Elliott Butler. So now Telgenhoff up into 4th place. So he again, another car that has a potential to have a say in this fight. He's a little bit ways back, but in the grand scheme of things, he's right there with these guys up front.
Yeah, it seems like under green flag conditions, every time we turn around, that 3 car is passing someone else. So he's doing a great job so far. I really like what I'm seeing out of him. And if he can get a decent restart up here soon, I guess if we get one more yellow and he can get a decent restart then, I wouldn't rule him out for the race win, honestly. He's got such a good race car and has been showing so much speed that, realistically, I think he's got something for these guys ahead of him. And speaking of the guys ahead of him, Hutton did go by. Hinton has left him in the dust. So now the battle back between the 43 and the 88.
Yeah, and the last time they were through, the 3 was the fastest of the top 4. And that time by it actually changed. It looks like Hull was the fastest car again. So, but these top 4 are just a lot faster than, actually top 5 include Elliott Butler, and the top 5 a lot faster than the rest of the field at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Angelo Herron is starting to lose some time here to Elliott Butler, but still pretty much within that neighborhood. Then it starts to space out just a little bit more when you go back to Ryan Shelton and Jordan Ashlyn, just looking at the telemetry here. But Eric Hutton hanging on, then this is what he has to do. If he can't go up there and outright pass the 43, he at least has to be within about a half a second, maybe 3/4 is manageable. But doing a great job. I can't stress that enough, of just staying within range of that 43 car, to where if he starts to slip up over the course of a few laps or just has one big mistake, suddenly Hutton will be there.
Yeah, that's one of the things you really just need to do. It's a very understated tactic, I feel, is putting pressure on the driver in front of you. People might underestimate how well that can work, but it really does. Getting to the mind of the driver or drivers around you, just putting that pressure down could force a driver to make a mistake, and that could definitely benefit in your favor.
Yeah, although right now he is actually losing a little bit more time. It seems like a couple hundredths of a second a lap, and I was just going to call that out. Hinton is starting to lose a lot of time to Telgenhoff. Soon we're going to see a pass for 3rd, and Hinton is really starting to get a little bit squirrely on corner exit. We'll see how Telgenhoff approaches that, but Hinton, yeah, definitely. There again, hangs on to it, but man, he is definitely just hanging it all out there. And he's using Gatorade to, I guess, propel him through the corners, but it's getting him a little bit slippery.
Yeah, honestly, he might be one of those guys we were talking about earlier, about guys coming into pit for some fresh tires, but caution is out on the track. And it looks like
Trejo.
Yeah, it looks like Trejo and the 38 of Andrew Schmier are involved in that. So let's see if we can get a replay of what just happened. All right, So here we see the 38 out of turn 4, and actually it was close to Jordan Ashland, so I wonder if he got involved. No, it looks like Schmier cut through the trial while grass got loose. And actually took out a pit road cone, went sliding through turn 1. I think he came sliding up across the track, yep, into the wall. Oh, hard impact. Was that the 26 of Steven Turner? I couldn't tell.
That was Reggie Ortega. It completely destroyed that 2 car.
Oh yeah, you got some major damage to the right side of that. Let's see if we can try to get a look at that car. I can't get an angle. See as he drives by the camera this time by, but yeah, huge. You can see his car already crabbing too. So very unfortunate for those 2 drivers' day.
It actually looks like work through the iRacing, I guess, graphics, if you will, but every once in a while you can actually damage these cars so badly that suddenly the right front actually goes through the hood, and it's a weird glitch if you're a driver to see, but unfortunately we can't see it as a spectator, sorry, but I think he's actually dealing with no right front on that car essentially because it is just on the ground. And it would actually explain why he suddenly went straight to the wall, that 2 car. I mean, he hit the 38 really, really hard.
And as you see, pit stops are underway. Here we got Eli Hinton. He's going to come out. He's actually going to take the lead ahead of the 3. You see Hall trying to force it out, but I don't think he was able to get second. I think Telganoff was actually able to get second. And Hall's going to drop back all the way to 3rd. So a bunch of mix-ups here on pit road.
And I'm going to use that line once more. This changes everything here, Finian, because suddenly Hall now relegated to 3rd place, and we have 2 guys who haven't been on the front row. Actually, no, Hinton has been on the front row a couple of times, but has not been in 1st. And then Telgenhoff now in 2nd place. I was just mentioning he just needs a good restart here on a late race yellow to, I think, have a chance to win this race. He's, I think, flat out faster than the top 3, at least that we had coming into that yellow. I think he's flat out faster than the 43, 88, and definitely the 13. So, actually, no, Telgenhoff back to 3rd place, so that changes that up a little bit. But still, I think that 3 car, if he can get a good restart here, maybe try and get around Hall often through turns 1 and 2, he might have a shot for the win.
Yeah, so big shakeup in the top 5 here. A lot of new names, and a bunch of the old names in a different order. So we got Eli Hinton up in front, and is that no? So Telganoff. Oh, Telganoff is in 2nd, I think. He seems to have gone by the 43 again, so I believe he's in 2nd. Hall's going to be back in 3rd place. Eric Hutton in 4th, and Angelo Horonis is going to move up into the top 5. He's going to be in 5th.
And then championship contender and championship leader, championship favorite, I think, definitely. Jordan Ashland going to be restarting 6th place. So watch out for that 27. Probably to just let some of these guys go by, honestly, as the intensity ramps up here, Finian. We've been talking about it for 100 laps now. All he has to do is finish this race. And one of the things that iRacing gives to drivers in the waiting screen to join a race as a tip is to finish first, you must first finish. And that may not apply to the race win for him. I don't think he really needs to go for that, but definitely the championship. If he's going to finish first in the standings, he must first finish.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now, with that last wreck, it's kind of put him in a good position right now. Specifically because we only have 14 cars on the lead lap. So if something were to happen to him as far as him just falling off the pace, maybe getting some contact with the wall, nothing terminal or major really, just some damage that could potentially take his car off the racing pace, we should see him still be able to take the championship because again, Eric Hutton is missing some vital bonus points that he needs to finish ahead of Ashland. And Ashland, if he finishes anywhere above 13th, guaranteed, he will take the championship. And he's right now running in 6th, so he's doing a great job. And kind of as every lap goes by, Eric Hutton's championship hopes kind of seem to be drifting further and further away.
But that's not to discredit a great race effort here. He has definitely been going for the win every single lap, and he looks like he has the car to do it, just needs to get the right circumstances to play out. I mean, we saw him when he exited the pit lane first, he held that lead until the next caution. So it's not to say that he can't lead, it's just that he has to get up there first.
Alright, so a bunch of change towards the front of the field, and we're going to go green with less than 40 laps to go. And we should have hell of a race on our hands. I keep saying that, but as every caution passes, it's gotten more and more interesting up towards the front of the field. Pace car is going to turn back down pit road, and it's going to give the control of the field to Eli Hinton in the 13. Green flag is back in the air here at Atlanta, and Hinton's out and away.
And oh my gosh, I just watched the timing there from Jacob Hall, and that was about as perfect as you can get. He was rolling up to Hinton before Hinton even wanted to go, but Hinton went just as Hall got to the back end of the 13. That was perfectly done by Jacob Hall. He's going to take over second spot from Andrew Telegenhoff. Now the 3 back into third place as Hutton gets relegated to 4th.
Yeah, it's top 5 sorted out for the moment, but I can imagine that's going to change as you see the 43 now looking inside and outside of Hinton, waiting to make a move.
Yeah, Jacob Hall is full attack right now. He has nothing to lose other than the race, and if he just can get up there and get around Eli Hinton, I think he's going to be pretty much off in another zip code. Realistically, I'm just on the short run. I think the 43 is best, and well, caution comes out. Looking for the caution car. It may have been Alec Daffin this time, and it is.
Yeah, his car doesn't look that damaged, but we'll still try to catch a replay of what happened here. It might have just been a small spin, but we can never really know. So,
going to involve Elliott Butler. This is actually a bit of an interesting one. The lead-up is quite interesting.
oh yeah, these guys are in contact. Kind of missed the beginning of that. Alright, and here we go. So we see them coming off of 4 side by side. Oh, and Butler got into the wall. He went into Daffin, sent Daffin loose. And both these cars were loose down into turn 1. They make contact yet again. And then Daffin slowly goes around. It comes back up into the track, and that's what triggered the caution to come out. But that was a very long wreck. And shouldn't be too bad on Daffin and the 36 of Butler. They should be getting off relatively unscathed.
A tiny bit here, Finian, but realistically, I mean, they're pretty much walking away winners after that one. That could have been so much worse.
Oh, and some changes in pit strategy. Hello, Andrew Telegenhoff is going to come down pit road. Looks like it was a split decision there. And some other takers behind, notably the 27 of Jordan Ashland, the 77 of Nicholas Kressel, and then the 18 of Alex Martinez, 36 of Butler, and 20 of Daffin coming in to fix some pit damage. But I want to just cut back. That was a last second decision by Telegenhoff. See if you can get a replay of that. Alright, so here we see them as they're approaching the commitment cone. What is essentially a commitment cone? We see Hall and it looks like Hinton dive down. They said no, and then as soon as they pull off, Telegenhoff went in. So I wonder if he was actually planning on just doing the reverse of what the leaders did.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, if we go green from here, Finian, that's a great move, period. Every car that just came in has the immense upper hand. But, I mean, realistically, cautions breed cautions. And being that this track is so tough to drive, I don't know that they're necessarily in the clear for yellows. I mean, we might see at least 1 or 2 more here. I mean, we've been seeing Eli Hinton get very loose. So even if it takes 15 laps or so, one of these guys up in the front going for the win could make one small mistake and suddenly bring out 1 more yellow, and it could be a big one at that.
I was going to say, all it really takes for a caution is just 1 small mistake, and you never know, depending on where it can happen, it can take up a lot of drivers, and you don't have to be at Talladega and Daytona for that to happen. It can happen at the beginning of a restart. It could take up a bunch of big names in this race so far, so you never know what's going to happen. But so, looking at the strategy here, again, it's not that much of a difference. Looks like the 3 of Telegenhoff's going to kind of cut it short by about 7 laps from the looks of it. 7 laps, newer tires, and he's going to be restarting in 8th. So 7th and up are going to have older tires. Again, not significantly, but every little bit can help here.
Yeah, and realistically, this is actually going to be a bigger advantage than the time we saw the field split a few cautions ago. They definitely ran more laps there, at least under full load, than previously. So, realistically, I think, you know, give it 10 laps, and we're going to see a lot of those guys that just pitted really start to filter back through the field. And I like to use the term the cream rising to the top. it's going to be pretty much that. Realistically, I think the guys with the better tires are just going to, rise up, and we'll see here. But I don't know. If we do go green here, Finian, I certainly would not bet against a guy like maybe Jordan Ashland to sneak through here, Andrew Telgenhoff too, and get the win just based on the fact that they have new tires.
Yeah, we've seen how strong the 3 of Telgenhoff is. He's able to really stick it in there and drive up to the front of the field, and you've seen him do it once before, and I think he can do it again. It's just a matter of, does he have enough time? We're going to go green with a little bit over 30 laps left in this race. So does he have enough time to do so, and will he have enough tires left to deal with the leaders once he gets there? So a lot of questions up in the air still, but Eli Hinton still controls the lead of this race. He was able to hold off the 43 of Jacob Hall, and Eric Hutton's going to take third. Hronis is up to fourth, and Josiah Vincent's up to fifth now.
And this could be the money restart here, and that might have been the money stop. I mean, realistically, I was just mentioning it, that could be the winning pit stop for some of these guys. This restart's going to be equally important. If Telgenhoff has another bad restart like we saw a few cautions ago from the entire top line, suddenly Telgenhoff's advantage goes away. So we'll have to see what these guys can do. Everybody has to nail their marks here.
All right, we're going to see pace car pull off yet again. And you see the 13 of Hinton. He's going to wait and actually spins his tires on the restart. He's going to get going after a very slippery start. And it looks like the 43 Hall is going to be right with him into one.
And that's not easy to hang on to that car when it gets loose on a restart like that. Great job by the entire front row, Hall and Hinton both, hanging on to their cars as they kind of spread out a tiny bit. The battle on for third place, as Verona is trying to attack the 88, and actually Hutton is going to drive away from that 9 car now. So now you have to look further back. Robert Gabba making a pass on Ryan Shelton. That is for the 6th position, I believe. And now you see the tires coming through the field. It's going to be Jordan Ashland leading that charge.
Yeah, the 3 of Telgenhoff, some people saw on the restart there, he was loose off the turn, actually hit the wall, came down below the white line. He's going to save it, but now, as you're saying, Ashland's going to lead that charge on fresher tires, and they're knocking the back door of Ryan Shelton.
And Telgenhoff back down to the inside. Doesn't make the move quite yet, but he's certainly putting his nose down there to where he can get that move made. And Shelton looking to slip up, or looking like he's slipping up just a tiny bit here, falling into the clutches of these two, but these two are battling, so that's going to help Shelton out at least for a couple of laps. If we get a caution here, he might hang on to those spots. Further back, you see Alec Daffin fanning out on those new tires, trying to get some damage fixed. These guys in the midfield could have some pretty good battles. Martinez makes the pass there.
And speaking of battles, the top 3 now getting closer and closer together as this run's going on. And you got to imagine, can Eli Hinton hold off on those tires? We've seen him fall off the pace later on in the run, with him slipping and sliding across the track. That's just how hard he's pushing the tires. So we'll Hull be able to catch up to him. You see them both running completely different lines.
Yeah, Hall and Hutton are both using the Kevin Harvick line right on that white line, but really Hinton is kind of just going through the center of the corner. I think that's where most of the grip is. Now he goes down to the Kevin Harvick line right on that white line and actually washes up. You don't want to do that because that's going to sacrifice corner exit speed. As here comes Hall drawing up to the back end of the 13, looking to the inside down the quad oval, and now looking to turn number 1 on the bottom side to make that pass. Can Hutton take advantage of this, or is he going to be stuck in third? I think he's going to be stuck in third for now.
Yeah, you see Hinton now knocking on the door, or he's trying to get that spot back from Hall, as Hall is able to clear that with pretty much ease. And you see now, I don't think Hinton's really going to be able to hold on for that much longer, as the 80 of Eric Hinton's knocking on the door.
Oh, and a big slide. Hinton hangs on to it. Good job there. He's doing a great job of hanging on to that race car, but you only get so many saves like that before the tires just finally give up and send you around. So keep an eye on the 13 car here, lap 113, ironically, as Hutton is still trying to keep up with these guys, but his car is actually starting to fall here, Finian, which is interesting considering he had a lot of good mid-run speed earlier on in this race, and this is about where those guys are right now. They're about mid-run, so this is where I'd expect the 18 to really pick up. I mean, we got some laps on the tires before that heat cycle under yellow. Now we're about 5-10 laps into the run, and I really expect that 88 to come alive.
Yeah, but only time will tell. But looking on back, there's a lot of interesting battles here. You see the 3 of Telgenhoff now trying to make do with the 75 and the 36 of, or hold off the 36 of Butler now, as they're both working up through the field.
Yeah, Butler trying to come back here. We saw him make a couple of slip-ups earlier. There we go. And then play some pit strategy. Now Robert Gaba starting to fall back and slide out of the corner. Gaba hangs on to it. It's going to be the 36 trying to get a spot here. I'm not sure if he can do it. Gaba is actually very strong. Even though he's on these old tires, Finian, he's doing a great job of hanging on to that spot.
Yeah, Gaba started all the way back in 16th. He's moved his way up into 9th at the moment and is trying to actually get back 8th place from Butler. But Butler looks like he may have it this corner, or just within the next few corners. Looks like that car is really strong. He's going to clear Robert Gaba there out of the turn.
And just ahead, Telgenhoff makes the pass on Ryan Shelton, so that's a big move there. Further ahead, Jacob Hall is starting to stretch out his lead, starting to stretch his legs. Actually, Shelton back down to the bottom side, but going to fall back. So Hinton and Hutton battle now down the back straightaway. That's the battle I think to watch. That could be the battle that shapes the championship here. If something happens to the 27 of Jordan Ashley, he's back in 10th and could slip up more.
Yeah, see Hinton now just perched there, trying to wait for an opportunity to present itself to get around Eli Hinton. Just cannot find the opening right now, but see him looking a full lane lower than Hinton as they head out of turn 2.
And these guys are actually slowing themselves down, of course. Whenever you battle, whenever you go side by side like this, well, not totally side by side, more so nose to tail, but whenever you battle like this, you slow yourselves down to where you can't really catch up to the guys in front of you. And in this case, the guy in front of you is Hutton, makes a great save out of the corner. It wasn't too sideways, but certainly hanging it out there just a little bit, using the door for side force. But, you know, Finian, these guys are going to have to keep in mind, you know, how much they actually want to battle versus sitting nose to tail for a little bit. And Hutton could actually use this time to kind of save tires and just go by Hinton when he has a chance. I wouldn't necessarily push, and you see him back off that time after a checkup out of 2.
Yeah, wondering though at this time, is Hutton kind of just hungry for some position, or if he does want to try to play the long game? It's kind of time will tell. Looks like he does want to try to get around Hinton as fast as humanly possible, but 13 seems to be putting up quite a fight.
Yeah, Hinton is definitely not going to go down without a big fight here. And a big slide. Hutton hangs on to it, but that was definitely costly for the 88 Chick-fil-A machine. And he's going to need to hit the Chick-fil-A after this race, because he's definitely earning a chicken sandwich, burning those calories. And, man, he was loose out of 2 that time. That's about as loose as I've seen any of these Chevys really get, aside from the 36. It's mostly been the Fords getting kind of sideways out of turn 2.
And speaking of Fords, hello, Angelo Hronis now up into 4th. Looks like he's actually chasing down the 88 of Hutton. And we haven't talked much about him all race long. He's been very quiet, but he's doing a solid job now. And another driver doing a solid job behind. You see Andrew Telgenhoff, a guy we've been talking about a lot tonight. He's moved his way up into 5th, just around the 4 of Josiah Vincent.
And another driver that we haven't talked about recently would be Nicholas Caressel. We saw him get involved in a couple of incidents earlier on, kind of fall back, and he's actually now back into the top 10. He started 8th, so if he can come back and make good on that and get back to about 8th place, he's currently 9th. That would be pretty good. A bit of a comeback here for Caressel. Looking pretty good now. He fell way back early on, and that car is starting to look alive once more.
You can see him running a lot higher than everyone else around him, trying to just get the runs out of the corners, and it seems to be helping him quite a bit as he's catching Elliott Butler ahead of him and Ryan Shelton, so he might actually be in a battle, or have a battle in his hands within a few corners.
Well, that time he went right up to the wall and almost kisses it. Butler kind of fanned out to the middle side, and that kind of actually slowed Caressel up on entry there. He's going to go to the low side this time, make the pass, hopefully, for his case. On the 36, doesn't quite do it. Actually drives onto the apron. That's an inventive line. I haven't seen that one before, but he held on to it fine. That was definitely something. I've never seen a driver do that and hang on to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that was mainly planned. I think he was probably having a mini heart attack on his hands, because as you're saying, you know, driving to the apron, that can be very, very dangerous, especially at a track like this, especially merging back on. But he did so pretty seamlessly, almost made it look like he did it on purpose, but he's going to continue on. Now he's going to try to have to hold off the 27 of Jordan Ashton, as he seems to be closing up on him.
Meanwhile, you haven't really missed anything in the battle up front. Hutton's still kind of a little ways back of Hinton. And I don't know. I mean, we're inside 20 laps to go, getting closer to 15. Finian, I'm not sure if the 88 has the tires to do it at this point. You would have had to do it earlier on and then start your attack towards the 43 pretty quickly, he might have just watched his championship hopes fly out the window.
I just saw the 36 of Elliott Butler way loose out of the turn. Little shake of the wheel, and here comes the 77 of Nicholas Caressel down to the inside. Doesn't look like he's going to get the move done. But, but what you were talking about earlier is I just don't think Hutton's going to have enough to do it. And even if he does get around the 13 of Hinton, I just don't think he's going to have enough car to chase down the 43. And I think what it's going to take, and this is a big knock on wood here, is going to take a caution to come out to really help bunch everyone back up. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it with the gap that's currently present.
I think the ideal situation for Hutton could actually be a caution with about 7 or 6 to go, and then actually create a one-lap shootout. Hutton stays out and just gets an amazing jump off the restart if he can. That's going to be tough on old tires, but that would actually possibly be the ideal situation because he just stays out, gets the positions, and as long as he nails the restart, doesn't slip up too much, might actually have a win on his hands. But that takes a lot to go right. Plus, you have to have Ashlyn actually check up quite a bit and lose some spots here. So I'm not sure as he draws closer and closer to Hinton, he's putting the pressure back on. And if you pack air on that spoiler, you can actually get that 13 loose.
Yeah, and speaking of Ashlyn, right now he's in 10th, looking on 9th as Nicholas Caressel was a little bit loose off of 2. Ashlyn was almost able to take opportunity of it, but again, Ashlyn is in a prime position right now. With this, he's pretty much locked the championship in his hands and just needs to continue riding on the top 10. Doesn't have many cars behind him to fight with him, so it looks like he might sit pretty there unless, again, something drastic happens towards the end of this race. But all looking in Ashlyn's favor in the last 15 laps of this season.
Yeah, it's a good thing you bring that up, actually, because Alec Martinez is over a second and a half back. Is a big slide out of Butler, actually. Almost cost him a pretty good chance at the battle here with Josiah Vincent, but I actually gave him a pretty good line off into turns 1 and 2. So, I mean, that looked like it was by design, but I guarantee you it was not. He got very loose off into 1 and even out of 2. Now loses some ground to Caressel, but dives down to the inside, looking for the position. Cannot clear that 4 car. Here comes Caressel on the top side to take advantage of that as we have the 60 slow on the bottom side.
Yeah, I was going to say, got a perfect angle of that. He really looked like he was about to wreck, but kept on going. But now he's going to try to have to hold off the 77 of Caressel on the outside. Looks like that 77 is really good on that outside line. He's going to just drive around the 36 and clear that position.
Caressel looking like he has a chance to get up here and go for 7th place, if not more. That car is getting a great drive out of turns 2 and 4 right now, and that comes with the outside line. You saw Hinton maybe going up there brushing it off a little bit. It's helping Caressel because he can just get up there and just hang it all out there, and pretty much Kyle Larson around this racetrack now to the bottom side, though, underneath Josiah Vincent as Jordan Ashlyn trying to pass Elliott Butler.
Yeah, Caressel, again, driver we haven't really talked about much today. He's been very quiet. Started in 8th. He's now back up to 7th. So he's net 1 position gain at the end of the day. And he's showing strong right here in the end. And that's pretty much where you want to be strong. And he's doing a fantastic job passing these cars.
Butler trying to dig back down to the bottom as Vincent gets loose in front of him. That was another great save. That's actually going to help out Jordan Ashlyn, I think. He gets that spot. So, man, one of the final nails in the coffin here pretty much for Eric Hutton, unfortunately. I don't think he can do it. It would take the 27 wrecking out right now, and even then it would have to happen right now in order for Reggie Ortega to get by him, and that still is a stretch. I think he's got this thing locked up if you're Jordan Ashlyn.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he knows that right now. It's just a matter of getting that car home in one piece. And again, not many threats around him at the moment. He's just kind of sitting and driving his few laps until the checkered flag comes in the air, and we're due that in about 9 laps time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate for Eric Hutton to be racing in this situation, knowing that there's not much he can do other than try and keep putting the pressure on. I mean, he's been stuck behind this 13 for so long, I just don't know if he can even pass him anymore. Even though he's faster, it's so hard to actually big slide out of 4 that time. That's what I'm trying to say is, I mean, it's hard to pass. You can't just go up there and, simply throw it underneath somebody and expect it to stick. You have to really craft the pass here. It's an art, and it's not going to be easy. And even that's only for 2nd place, and he has another 1.5 seconds to go up to Jacob Hall. So I just don't see him winning this race anymore.
Yeah, but you see Hutton, though, I think right now he's just kind of set his sights on 2nd at the moment. Got a really good opportunity of it coming out of 4 last time. but wasn't able to really seal the deal as he came off the corner, lost a little bit of ground. But you see him now trying to chase down the 13 yet again, and he's going to try to get the move down with 7 laps to go.
And as those two keep battling, watch for this 3-car to enter the fray. Andrew Telgenhoff, we've been praising him a lot tonight. Raise all praise Dale. He's just been rolling through the field. I mean, just constantly. It seems like every time we turn around, he's making a pass or gaining time. And this 3-car is really driving towards the front. If those two keep battling and really slow themselves down here as their tires wear off, that 3 could suddenly be in it.
Both cars very loose off of 4, both shaking at the wheel, trying to keep it straight. They're both really pushing these cars to their limits at this point. And honestly, something happens between them, you could expect the 3 to pounce on that opportunity.
Definitely. You see Hutton getting very close to Hinton's rear bumper, and that could be important. I mean, you don't necessarily want to bump and run somebody on a 1.5 miles, but quite honestly, Eric Hutton's been stuck behind this 13 so long and battling for a championship that I wouldn't put it past him. He's desperate at this point. I mean, he might not be considered, be considering, where Ashlyn is. He might not know the point situation. He just knows he has to pass that 13 car.
Yeah, and speaking of passing, here he is. He got a good run down the front straightaway. He's going to look to the inside. It looks like he's going to clear Hinton at the moment. Looks like Hinton almost let him by. But no, it looks like Hinton was just trying to get a nice run out of the corner. Here he comes flying down the back straightaway.
And Hinton trying the crossover. Can he do it? Hooks that bottom side, getting a pretty good run, but he kind of washes up out of 4 again and can't complete that move. Hutton gets the big run out of the corner as they come up on a slow lapped Mark Emerson. We'll see how he plays into this. Going to actually get right in front of Hinton here. Is actually Hinton making a drive through the middle of the racetrack now as Hutton goes to the top side.
And I think that's almost going to seal the deal there. And it looks like Hutton's going to clear Hinton for second place, and we are in 5 laps to go, so a caution were to come out now, it's going to be race over at this point. So it's everything's pretty much set in stone right now.
Hitting loose again. These guys are on the edge right now. I'm not sure if maybe the Chick-fil-A crew put pickles on instead of tires, but that 88 is looking loose. So is the 13. I mean, this is some pretty good racing, some pretty good driving, period. It doesn't matter if they're a second apart or a tenth apart. This is pretty good driving regardless. To be wheeling these cars around here like this so masterfully. I mean, it's not easy to do by any means. Yes, it's pixels. Yes, you're just holding a wheel and, well, it's all on a screen, but it's extremely hard.
Yeah, and how about Hinton? Wow, still just driving it out till the end. He's not giving up at all. He's giving it his all. He saw him just loose halfway down the front straightaway, trying to chase back down Eric Hinton. I don't think it's going to happen, but try telling him that.
And I certainly have to appreciate, Finian, that you aren't necessarily knocking my puns here. I've been making a lot tonight, a lot of isms. But as we come to the white flag here, Jacob Hall has been putting on a dominant performance coming out of turn number 4, the pinnacle of this series that matches the sponsor on that car, I do believe. And he is just driving away from this field. Actually, I will say Hutton is closing in, but it's not nearly enough. It's far too late, far too little, as Jacob Hall has just a half a lap to go, 3/4 of a mile this time out of turn number 2.
Yeah, and what can we not say about that 43 car? He's done everything he needed to do for tonight. He's pretty much almost dominated this race. Fell off a little bit in the middle section of the race, but came back towards the end. And he's just done a fantastic job all day long. Out of turn 4, he comes. He's going to come collect the checkered flag at the end of the season. Jacob Hall is going to win here at Atlanta. But more importantly, out of turn 4 on the front straightaway, we have your new champion, Jordan Ashlyn in the 27. He's going to win the 2018 VRL Championship.
And again, a big run there from Jacob Hall. You said it great there, Finian. I mean, tons of congrats here to Jordan Ashlyn. It's not easy to win any championship, and this league is obviously very competitive. I know I'm a little bit newer, but what a race tonight. And for this to be your championship performance, he didn't have to do any better than, what, 17th? He comes home 8th, which is still a pretty good run here, considering I don't think he was pushing half the night.
And here we have the 43 of Jacob Hall, pretty much winning the most overshadowed. It's going to be the most overshadowed victory of the season. He's going to do his burnouts on the front straightaway. And it looks like the 27 of Ashlyn is going to join him to do his burnouts for his championship. And well earned at that.
quickly want to give praise as these guys do some amazing celebrations here down the front straightaway. Want to give some praise once more to some of the comebacks. Ryan Shelton, Nicholas Caressel, those two were looking like they were out of it for a while. They come back, get top 10s, and as these guys do some amazing burnouts down the front straightaway. Eli Hinton, Jacob Hall, that's a pretty spectacular one.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually the 27 on Ashton just blew his motor, so he's done celebrating at that point.
Season's over. Don't need that motor no more.
Yep, definitely so. So, all right. So with that, we're gonna cut to commercial break. We're gonna get your top 3 and your champion for an interview. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here with your race winner, Jacob Hall, in the 43. That was a hell of a run today. You did fantastic all night long. Just tell us how you were able to get it done.
The key tonight to winning was really saving your tires. I tried my hardest to save my tires on the short run, and that's where I was getting beat at because Eric and Eli, they was a lot better than me on the short run. But once we got to the long run, I felt like I had the best car.
Yeah, so we saw a lot of the guys all night long just kind of sliding and slipping around. How were you able to deal with that? I mean, your car actually looked like it was pretty under control all night long. So just tell us, maybe how you were like looking at the corner, like how were you driving to try to prevent that?
I was trying to back my corner up on entry, and on exit I was being really smooth coming off. And the tri-oval was really hard to get through. I had to go about quarter to half throttle to it so it wouldn't spin, and worked out good. Kept my car really stable, and it saved my tires a lot more.
All right, so that's your race winner here at Atlanta. Most overshadowed victory of the season, but I don't think it's going to mind Jacob Hall anything. He's going to go back and celebrate. So thanks for talking with us, Jacob, and good luck next season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, and we got Eric Hinton now in the 88.
And Eric Hutton, you were you were on the outside looking in rather, and you still put on a great performance. So you drove literally past the 13 of Hinton after battling with him for what, 20 laps? You wore your tires down. You drove to the better end. How was the car tonight? And how did you approach this thing coming in, knowing that you had to do a lot, and that still required a lot more out of your control just to win the championship?
Yeah, I came in feeling pretty decent about the race. Displaying my qualifying effort in practice, I was about 10th faster than that, and the setup was pretty loose. Like, Atlanta is, but it really wanted to plow out of 2, depending on how when you got back in the gas. But I was battling Jacob there a lot of the race, and had a real bad pit stop towards the end. It was like a 14-second something. It was just awful, and so I had to race in the pack, and I was racing Eli real hard and just destroyed my tires on the last run. So I knew I didn't get all the bonus points possible, so the championship was kind of out of the picture. I was wanting to get the race win, but I just killed the tires on that last run, and it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, we watched you battle with Hinton for so long that we knew it just was going to take a miracle at that point for you to have any chance at the race win, let alone the championship. But you did everything you had to do. You went out there, and again, you were the outsider looking in, and you still went out there and you finished on the podium in second place at that. So, I mean, it's a tough racetrack here at Atlanta. You did great. You may not have gotten the championship, but still, I think that wraps up a pretty darn good season.
Oh yeah, happy season. Had some new guys in this season, bringing more competition. So big congrats to Jordan. He was real consistent all the season, and that's how you win them. So looking forward to next season.
And I can't praise you enough on how good you did tonight. But before we let you go, who do you have to thank for that big run of the number 88?
Well, I gotta thank everyone at Billy Racing for always putting in effort and helping each other. Gotta thank everyone just racing clean, and we've been racing real good this season. Wish we could have got a long run here tonight, but just doesn't happen.
All right, Eric. Well, thank you for your time, and hopefully we see more of you next season.
All right, thank you guys. See you then.
And again, that was second place finisher Eric Hutton, going to finish second in the standings as well, Finian. But as we move on down the pit lane, down to Eli Hinton, that guy, he drove the wheels off of that thing. And so we get him in the broadcast booth. Eli, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Eli, you were definitely using Gatorade to propel you quite a bit tonight. You were driving sideways out the corners. You were definitely putting on a show. How did the car feel around there tonight?
You know, it was pretty tight in the short run. I was unexpected for Atlanta, but after about 15 laps, that thing was sideways. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a driver, I was kind of jealous of you guys getting to wheel that thing around there. It looked like almost a mix of pavement and dirt racing, but at 200 miles an hour. Either way, great job coming home third place here tonight. Realistically, considering you had nothing to lose, tell us what your game plan was coming into tonight's race.
I was just trying to win. I still haven't got that first win in the league yet. I've had like 10 or 11 top threes, still no win. It's kind of frustrating, but it was a great job. My teammate Jacob got the win, and Eric ran hard for that championship. He just came up a few points short.
Well, you certainly did a great job tonight. Definitely, I think, put on a show. I mean, you qualified 18th. That was the slowest time that was put down there, yet you come home third, and you easily had a car to contend for a win if we had a short run there. So, again, great job tonight, Eli. Who do you have to thank for this big run of the number 13?
My sponsors, Gatorade Propel, they're propelling me, man. But my teammates, Ben Bafford, Jacob Hall, and Alec Martinez, we did a great job tonight.
All right, well, again, great job, Eli. Thanks for your time, and hopefully we're talking to you next time.
Yeah, thank you for the broadcast.
And again, that was Eli Hinton, comes home third place. Did a great job tonight, Finian. But down to you with our season champion.
Yep, and it's a man that almost needs no introduction. Jordan Ashland in the 27. You got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, man. Congrats on the championship. You've done a hell of a job all season long. He came in here with a hefty points lead over Eric Hutton in the 88. But tell us, just what was your attitude going into tonight? Were you kind of laid back, knowing that you have a bit of a points lead, or were you kind of on edge, just trying to make sure you're able to finish in a strong spot?
Well, I think a little both. I was definitely going into this race conservative, and I just don't want to race anybody. If I seen someone who was behind me, I'd let him go. Pretty much the whole race. I think that's something everyone in this league can look at the way that conservative style goes and kind of embrace that a little bit more themselves. And super aggressive guys crash out, and guy that's the most consistent battles for point.
All right, and just gotta ask, looking, I guess back in the season in review. Unfortunately, we weren't able to cover all the rounds, but looking back at the season, is there anything really that you would have changed, that you would have done better as a driver? Kind of just reflecting, or are you kind of happy with the way the season went?
I think a lot of things. I look back and I look at the things that went wrong. There was a time at Iowa where I crashed out, got in a wreck that was ahead of me, and crashed out, got 18th. But there were so many things that could have went wrong too. So like, I think the second race of the year was Texas, and I was performing pretty strong. I was in second place, and early in the race, and my computer monitor went dead, and somehow I got that back up and going. I found myself like 4 laps down, and with no damage, somehow, and I got back up and finished in the top 5. So I guess definitely things like that are gonna get capitalized.
All right, so that was our champion, Jordan Ashland. Gotta ask, is there anyone you would like to say thank you to for this championship?
I want to shout out to all the VRL drivers out there. This league has become so much fun, and the competition is so close. It makes racing great week in and week out. And there's not one driver who dominates every week, or even a couple of drivers. It's a testament to how close we are as a group. And these guys love coming into the races with the legitimate chance to win each race. And we could go to a track one week where someone is running like 20th place, and then the next week no one would bat an eye if that guy had winning pace. So I want to thank Andrew Telganoff too for putting a lot of time and effort and money into Virtual Racing League, and he does a good job as a sit-out admin for most of the races, and he's a great friend and a great colleague. And I want to thank you guys at SimTV for putting on great broadcasts.
All right, thank you to you too, Jordan. All right, so just thanks for running. Congrats on the championship, and hope to see you again next season, and hoping for you for the best for a repeat.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I gotta say, all in all, wrapping things up, that was a hell of a race here at Atlanta.
Yeah, fitting. I mean, again, I'm coming in even more of an outsider than Hutton was to the championship, but based on my one pass experience with these guys and based on what I saw tonight, certainly great racing put on. I imagine it was like this for most of the season, if not the entire season, and that was a great way, I think, to cap off the season, no matter how it went. Great race all that long. There was a bit of parity, actually. There were 4 or 5 guys who I thought could have won that race. It wasn't down to just any one guy, kind of like Jordan was touching on right there. So again, what a great race. Was really glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, a lot of action that was on the track, a lot of passing going on. Guys pretty much giving it their all here. One last hurrah at the end of the season. So great job by the guys at VRL, and from the sounds of it, it does seem like we are going to be back with VRL for next season. But in the immediate schedule, what's coming up for us here, on Sunday night, tomorrow night, I should say, we have Chicagoland for the 3-wide truck series. They're going to be having their penultimate round, and the final round or the second to last round in their championship. 4 drivers are going to be going home after, and we're going to set our final 4 for Homestead in the future. Then fast forward to Tuesday, on the 16th, we have Darlington. It's going to be throwback night for the Fuel Cup Series, where Andrew is currently racing in. So tune in to see him racing. Then on Thursday, we have Road America for the Scars Ferrari Series. They're going to have a fantastic race over there. And that seems to be it for the moment on our schedule. So a bunch of really great races coming up for SimTV. But got to say, at the end of the day, this is a fantastic race to cover. And this is going to be SimTV signing out. Hope to see you soon.